An amber extreme weather warning has come into force across large parts of England and Wales. Temperatures are predicted to hit 36 degrees Celsius in some areas.
That Met Office warning is in place for the next 4 days, with intensive heat expected to affect water supplies, farming and wildlife. Francis Reid has more.
A dog locked in a sweltering hot car, rescued by police in the nick of time.
Come on. Come on, pup. Come on, pup.
It's now making a good recovery, but underestimating the heat can pose the most danger to humans and animals. Wildlife charities say hedgehog populations are struggling, coming out in the day to try to find water. And in the fields, the grass cattle would usually eat has dried out. Leaves have shrivelled, with yields down 20%.
Fortunate we've got a yield, but unfortunately we haven't got the size of potatoes we need, because these potatoes should all be that size, and far too many are that size. And so therefore that's where the lost yield is.
Of course, some are making the most of the hot weather, but extreme heat warnings have been issued to protect people from the risks. This week's amber status for high temperatures extends across the south of Britain into the lower part of the north of England. We're being told to stay hydrated and eat foods with high water content, limit travel and exercise, and shower in cool water to lower body temperature. But water has also been an issue. Canals starting to dry up, with locks closed off near Woking in Surrey because the levels are so low. And in some places like Oxfordshire, there have been problems with both leaks and supplies, with tankers sent out to replenish them. Hosepipe bans are already in place in parts of the country, with more planned. And rivers running low or dried out completely, not helped by more hot weather on the way. Francis Reid, BBC News.
Let's talk to Carol, who's in Primrose Hill for us in North London. Carol, morning to you. Now, it looks absolutely stunning there, and of course it is, but I can see just how parched the ground is. And this weather warning, it's amber, isn't it? We had a red one last time round.
That's right, Naga. The red one was also for extreme heat, and it's the first time the Met Office had ever issued a red extreme heat warning. July, of course, was the hottest July on record. On the 19th of July, we recorded a temperature of 40.3 Celsius in Coningsby in Lincolnshire. That's the highest temperature ever recorded in the UK. Now, the amber extreme heat weather warning is a level down from that, but still to be taken seriously. It's valid for quite a long time as well, from today all the way through until Sunday. And it does mean it could well have impacts on health, for example, or indeed on infrastructure. So some of your travel arrangements may well be affected by this. Temperatures in the next few days are expected widely to get into the 30s and locally as high as 37 Celsius somewhere in the south of England. So these are still high temperatures, and all the advice you've just been hearing there about keeping hydrated is very valid. The other thing I'd add is don't leave animals or children unattended in a car. Now, to put it into perspective, if we exceed 35 Celsius on 4 consecutive days, which is highly likely between now and also Sunday, well, that will only be the second time in the UK that this has happened since June 1976. So that kind of puts it all into perspective. Again, Charlie. And if we take a look around, you can see just how parched the ground is. Look at it, it's cracked in places as well. And some parts of Hampshire, for example, have not had any measurable rain for 41 days now, more especially Odium. And if we exceed 35 Celsius in 4 consecutive days, which is highly likely between today and also Sunday, it will only be the second time that that has happened in the UK since June 1976. So do take good heed of this Met Office warning. Charlie, Naga.
For once, Carol, I can say I don't remember it well. Feels quite good.
Yes, Naga, I believe you.
Carol, see you later.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
On the fire brigade there, they're concerned, about wildfires. Then we're hearing about farmers and how they're desperate for a change in weather, for more rain. Just give us a sense of what might happen next.
Well, for the next few days, Charlie, the forecast is actually a dry one from Monday to Thursday. The exception to that is across the far northwest of Scotland. If you're after rain, what we're looking at is the chance of a few showers during the course of Sunday. Not all of us will see them. And then on Monday, low pressure is going to start to have more of an influence on our weather, so things will start to change. The weather will become a bit more unsettled. We're not guaranteed rain across the board, and we're not guaranteed rain, of course, where we do need it, but we will keep you up to date on where we're expecting that in the next few days. So if we take a look at the charts, you'll see what I'm talking about. The forecast for the next few days is a dry one. It's also a hot one for many of us. The lowest temperatures are where we've got sea breezes developing and where we've got low cloud or a weather front. And that's what we've got today. High pressure still firmly in charge, so keeping things settled, keeping also weather fronts at bay in the northwest. So this is where we're seeing cloud from time to time and also rain from time to time as well. The Met Office has got an amber extreme heat warning in force. This runs already. It started at midnight and it carries on until Sunday evening late. And it does mean there could well be impacts on infrastructure and also on health.
An amber extreme weather warning has come into force across large parts of England and Wales. Temperatures set at 37 degrees Celsius in some places.
Now, the Met Office warning is in place for the next 4 days, with the intensive heat expected to affect water supplies, farming and wildlife.
We can speak now to our reporter Alexis Green, who's at a farm in North Norfolk. And really, Alexis, you just have to look around you there to get a sense of, I mean, what would that normally be like? Have you had that explained to you?
Yes, Charlie, this would normally be 10 metres deep, and it's just now a series of puddles. Here at Holcombe Estate, they really rely on these reservoirs to feed crops such as potatoes. It's been a really dry year here so far in Norfolk. Bar February, we've had below average rainfall each month. Let's talk to the manager here at Holcombe Emerald, Harry Barnett. Harry, this is one of your 4 empty reservoirs. How concerned are you?
Of course we're concerned. It's been an incredibly dry year for us here. That dry condition really has persisted since the early part of the year. Combine that with the heat that we've seen in the last couple of months, it's made growing high-value vegetable crops very difficult indeed.
Now, just talk us through how vital these reservoirs for the land and crops here.
So here in Norfolk, we're on quite a sandy soil type, and we are generally a very dry climate. So these reservoirs and capturing that water to enable us to grow these high-value crops is absolutely essential. Without that water, we wouldn't be able to grow the potatoes that we do.
And how much water does it take to fill this, and how long?
So the reservoir that we're stood in at the moment holds 220,000 cubic metres. At the start of May, that would have been completely full, and in the last 3.5 months, we've just completely emptied it. The big concern and daunting prospect for us going forward is how are we going to fill these reservoirs back up? If we don't see significant rainfall in the next few months through the autumn and the winter, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to get them back full for 2023, putting the potato crop for 2023 in jeopardy.
So how much water do potatoes need? Because they are the main crop that you use the reservoirs to feed.
So when we look at a potato is essentially 80% water. So to grow, they need lots of it. In these very extreme conditions that we've been seeing, a potato plant is using up to 5 millimetres of water a day. In a normal year, we would expect to apply 5 applications of 25 millimetres to a salad potato crop. This year, at times, we've had to do 10, and as you can see, we've completely exhausted our water resource.
Yes. Do you think the government should bring in a water strategy?
I think going forward, I think once 2022 and the dust settles, essentially, we will people will reflect back and say, look, things got very tight at times. In the UK, there's plenty of rainfall and water. The biggest problem is the distribution. The east and the southeast are extremely dry, and if we don't build these reservoirs, it's going to be difficult moving forward. Well,
fingers crossed you do get that much needed rainfall, Harry. I'm sure Carol will tell you there's no rainfall in the forecast this week. Farmers are looking to the skies for that much needed rain.
Well, I think they can keep looking for the moment, Alexis.